Chapter 2: Awakening. The morning after his confrontation with Mr. Thompson, Jake sat in his small apartment, the weight of recent events pressing down on him like a physical force. Sunlight filtered through dusty blinds, illuminating the scattered energy drink cans and takeout containers that reflected his current lifestyle. He pulled out his phone, staring at Derek's recent text message inviting him to a sketchy business opportunity. Another get-rich-quick scheme that Jake now saw with crystal clarity. Something had shifted inside him. The harsh words from his manager weren't just another reprimand. They were a mirror reflecting the worst version of himself. Jake realized he was living a life of constant avoidance, avoiding responsibility, avoiding growth, avoiding real connection. His first step came unexpectedly. A routine doctor's appointment he'd been postponing for months suddenly felt urgent. As he sat in the sterile waiting room, a health pamphlet caught his eye. Breaking destructive cycles. The words seemed to pulse with meaning. The doctor's examination was a wake-up call. "Your lifestyle is catching up with you," Dr. Martinez said bluntly. "Your blood pressure is elevated, signs of early stress, and your overall health indicators are concerning for someone your age." The clinical assessment hit harder than any workplace lecture. Jake learned he was pre-diabetic, showing early signs of liver stress, and his overall physical condition was declining rapidly. The medical report became his first tangible evidence that change wasn't just desirable, it was necessary for survival. That evening, he began mapping out small, achievable changes. He downloaded a fitness tracking app, cleared out his refrigerator of energy drinks and processed foods, and purchased a water bottle. Each action felt like a tiny rebellion against his previous self-destructive patterns. At work, Jake noticed subtle changes in his interactions. Where he previously rolled his eyes or gave minimal effort, he now listened more carefully to customers. Mr. Thompson seemed cautiously optimistic, offering a rare encouraging nod when Jake successfully resolved a complex customer issue. His relationship with Derek became increasingly strained. When Derek called about another can't-miss opportunity involving selling counterfeit merchandise, Jake's response was different. "I'm good," he said firmly. "I'm trying to make some changes." Derek's laugh was sharp. "Changes? Come on, you're not some motivational poster guy. We've always made money our way." But Jake had seen through the facade. These opportunities were nothing more than temporary fixes that would ultimately lead nowhere. The real opportunity was rebuilding himself. He started small, a morning routine of stretching, drinking water instead of energy drinks, reading books about personal development instead of scrolling mindlessly through social media. Each action was a deliberate choice to rebuild. The journey wasn't linear. Some days were harder than others. He'd catch himself falling into old thought patterns, old habits. But now, instead of giving up, he'd recognize the slip and course correct. A conversation with Sandra, a customer service colleague, provided unexpected inspiration. She shared her own story of overcoming personal challenges, emphasizing that transformation was a process, not an overnight miracle. "It's about consistency," Sandra told him, "not perfection. Every small choice matters." By the end of the month, Jake had saved money he would have previously spent on unnecessary expenses. He bought a used bicycle, started taking evening walks, and began researching nutrition. These weren't grand gestures, but deliberate, calculated steps towards a different life. The apartment slowly transformed. Takeout containers were replaced with meal prep containers. Energy drink cans disappeared, replaced by a water filter. Small changes that represented something larger, a commitment to himself. As he prepared for bed, Jake looked at his reflection. The person staring back wasn't dramatically different, but something in the eyes had changed. A spark of determination, a glimmer of hope. He understood now that his transformation wasn't about becoming someone else, but about becoming the best version of himself. The journey had just begun, but for the first time in years, Jake felt genuinely excited about what lay ahead.